All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for
Good
being
morning.
here. Welcome to the Seniors Real Estate Specialist Networking Meetup Group. Yay! I'm so excited to have Kris here with us today. Um, we're going to learn a lot today. I'm just really looking forward to this. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kris now. She's got her slides going.
Okay, and here you go. All right. Well, create income. What if you could create income you'll never outlive? Hi, you guys. Nice to see all of you. Um, just to give you a little bit of backstory, how did I end up here? It started about 36 years ago, and and I was working with an attorney. We were at a senior center, and she wanted a living trust. And 1991, 92, this guy wanted to charge $5,000, and all she had was a car and a house and no money. And I said, "Hey," when she left the room, "could you give her a deal?" And he looked at me like, you know. So that's really what started my business because I was the one that did all the work and they got all the money. I'm an LDM, a legal document assistant, so I'm licensed with the state bar. I have a picture ID, and we actually are kind of the step up above a paralegal. We do document preparation. So our company's prepared over 6,000 revocable living trusts. And thank God never had a problem. They work just fine. So as a result of this, what happened was I took that $5,000 trust and I gave it away for $199. Oh, did everybody get mad at me? I'm telling you, they were calling the DA on me, and I was one of the first people. It's not a brag, it's just what happened that I literally started doing workshops. And actually, the workshops were sort of a first thing in Southern California on what's the difference between a will and a trust. Nobody knew. And then as a result of this, hundreds of people started showing up. I mean, I literally have coached over 6,000 and then basically stopped counting. But they came in and there was a pattern. The pattern was that exactly, they all they knew was you got to gamble your money and, in the Wall Street casino. But what really got me was they were literally coming in and starting their retirement plan at 50, 60, and 70. Now, don't feel bad if that's you, because you know what? 99% of everybody in the US is that person. Why? Because you go to school, you learn how to make money, you get out of school, and what do? You go make money. And most people, unless you're a planner, I see a couple people on here that might do that too. Most people just give it to some guy that gambles it and they have no idea where it is. I mean serious. Like, I'll go, "Well, where's your IRA or your 401k?" They'll go, and they name the big company. I go, "No, what's it invested in?" And and unfortunately, people really don't understand what they have and where it is. So, what I've learned is the secrets of the 1%. I say secrets because nobody really talks about it, right? And my goal is to create financial wellness for people. I literally have a financial wellness program. We'll get to share it another time, but to teach people about money and how to use it and how to grow it and how to eliminate taxes and and what I do for folks is financial fitness, where I reevaluate what they have, where it is, and give them a fitness strategy session. So We used to think like $1 million is a lot of money. And I think it was basically, oh, they just shifted it again. It was, you got to have at least 1 million or two to retire. And I don't even think that's kept up to where we are right now. So essentially, you know, setting up the whole system so that you have the life without work. So, when we reassess how much money you're actually going to need, and you're here, and your income you never outlive. At some point, you will have a life without working, unless you're contributing and give back. Which my daddy worked till he was 91, so I probably go to 100 here. So there's never a straight line. Basically, you're here, and we've got to figure out: are you on track to make sure that you have these 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 items? And over 3 decades, what I've really found was that there were three things. And that's the subtitle of my book: Three Secrets for Safe Money and a Fabulous Future. It's not secret. It's pretty obviously when you see third and fourth quarter life. It's all about protection of assets from catastrophic illness, right? Medical expenses, probate, having the right paperwork. And mind you, living trust is not just when you cross over for when you pass away. Living trusts are for now. Good trusts have powers of attorney for financial and health. And then making sure your money is safe and that you have less taxes and it pays you for life. And maybe you might even have a little bit left over for your family, right? Or your charity. Yes, it's true. I have literally protected that much in assets. Well, over 3 decades, you could see with what I do. When you learn about it, I'm very blessed to be able to help and to be able to say that I've protected billions of dollars. And one thing, there's one thing about money that I really found out was it's really wasn't that I was so smart. It's actually seeing patterns. And that was what I saw when I first started was the pattern that most people, because they weren't taught, are really going to wait till they retire, till they get it all together, right? And they get organized. So when I look at those three things, that's a stool. That's where you're going to have third and fourth quarter life stability. Because I'll tell you, with my own witness, with my own experience of what I've done, medical expenses can wipe you out. And I mean, even if you're on Medicare or you have some medical thing set up, that's another workshop coming soon. But seriously, it's really crazy. And it is a jungle out there. It's really hard for people to trust people and get, lured into different things. There's lots of volatility right now. I mean, wars and rumors of wars and all these hidden things that we really don't know about. And then there's the digital currency and how all of that is going to affect everything. So it's like a jungle. And we want to get from point A to point B, and let alone, yeah. What's that?
Somebody wasn't on mute.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so it is a jungle, and we want to get to that other side in one piece. And obviously, we know all the stressors, and then places where you put your money. Like some people, when they're working, they got everything in their 401k. They don't even look at it. They have no idea where it is. And when they actually get to retire, like I said earlier, they're confused about it, and they don't really realize how many fees and restrictions and things that they're in their IRAs or their 401ks, which really are big tax bombs when you get to retirement. So I really like to show people how to protect their assets. I'm really on the safe money side, and I want to make sure that the taxes are low, that they do have something safe that they can create income from or grow, and making sure they have the right legal protections. Now, do you think it's a little confusing out there when you look at each one of these broadcasting places, right? They're all saying something different, right? Oh, it is a recession. No, it's a depression. No, it's fine. Everything's the best it's ever been. It's hard to believe people, right? And everybody's got ulterior motives. obviously. So I don't care what age you are, just start now. And I've made it really easy. I've simplified a lot of the things that are complicated. And the main thing I like to do is be safe and never lose one dime in any market risk. So I literally can tell you I own what I sell and I've never lost one dime in any market risk in 36 years. And I'll tell you, it's pretty nice when you get like into a 2008 and I was making 2 to 4% and not losing principal. And most people were losing a lot of assets. So I focus on the insurance side. If you're over, in your late 50s, I'm a big fan of annuities. I have most of my retirement in equity index annuities. And there's two kinds of those. Basically, there's an income and then there's an accumulation. Those are, at the time of this recording, they have great interest rates, and obviously they're going to go up. But as of now, the accumulation is anywhere from 6 to 14, 15%. And that's a tax deferred device. So then you can literally set these things up to pay you for life. There's accumulation where you can take money out, and then there's lifetime income. I cannot tell you how important, and most people don't have it because they think Medicare is going to cover it. Medicare does not cover long-term care. 7 out of 10 of us will need it. So these are things that we're going to dive down into. And then, of course, the living trust. I'm a big fan of, and honestly, they hide a lot of this information from people. I didn't find out about some of this till I was older, and the tax-free income. I don't know. How many of you have heard of an IRA reboot? Anybody?
What?
An IRA reboot. Okay. This is so cool. So this is where, let's break it down. Like when you withdraw your retirement account, like I said earlier, IRA, 401k, 403b, those are tax deferred. So when you get into retirement, you're going to be paying ordinary income, right? And that is going to make your $1 million or your $100,000, right, 40 to 60% less, depending on what tax bracket you are in. Now, there's a solution called the IRA reboot, where you can convert your IRA into a tax-free vehicle with no out-of-pocket costs. So, and it depends on your age and your health. You do have to have health for this one. And of course, younger ages get the longevity. It's amazing, right? Another Warren Buffett have the power of compounding your money when you don't lose it, when you don't pay taxes on it, and you set it up as a tax-free income. The real value of the account literally can save you up to 20 to 40% less than what you might have expected. And then it converts it into a tax-free income. And the taxes are paid coming out from the death benefit. That's right. So you can literally use the death benefit while you are alive to pay those taxes. And basically, how does it work? And these are all customized for whatever age and health you're in. You do have to have decent health to get it, but they can be, put in between 3 and 10 years. And as I said, the taxes are paid internally by interest policy loans. In other words, accelerated death benefits. You can literally use that death benefit for income. You can use that death benefit for catastrophic illness protection. They're really amazing. Like I said, the value is the tax-free income, tax-free long-term care. So the money that, God forbid you need care will come out tax-free. And you can literally hire your friends or your family to take care of you and not go to a nursing home. That's what I teach people how to do, not go to a nursing home, to stay in their own home and manage everything. And annuities, they've been around since the Middle Ages, just like the living trust. These are not new things. Now, there are new flavors of them, like the equity index and the different things like that. But these annuities are actually savings accounts with insurance companies. And like I said, There's different flavors. You know, they have the deferred, immediate, fixed. I don't like variable. That means you can lose your principal. It goes up and down. I like the index. We're getting the growth of the market with no market risk. So whatever I show people has a floor. You can never lose your principal. It never goes down, right? Then, you know, there's different writers depending on what your goals are. So that's what the financial fitness strategy session does, where literally can customize these for you. And it isn't about selling a product. It's about how are all these things connected together, right? It isn't a separate thing. And that's what people have done. They get these people that come in and they sell them a stock or sell them a, you know, even an annuity, but they're not connected with the whole legacy wealth strategy. And that's my specialty. I'm a legacy wealth strategist. So how all these things go together. And remember, it's living your legacy. So I'm not just talking about leaving the legacy. I'm talking about living it now so that you feel like you're working retired, right? And the senior real estate thing, doing your thing, having fun, but having all these things taken care of. So you have less stress. And like I said earlier, it's just really a hard one for people to capture, but 7 out of 10 of us end up with a catastrophic illness. I'm one of those. I never would have expected anything would happen to me. I had an experience, a medical experience that I'll share with it another time, but I've been in the best health ever. And then boom, out of the nowhere, these things show up. And look, you guys, you're all in real estate. You have fire insurance in your house, right? Okay. You're in California. You have insurance for your car, right? Or you're under arrest. And how about long-term care? And when I'm in front of large audiences or even small audiences, and I say, how many of you have your long-term care? I would say about 2% of people have it. Most people think that Medicare is going to cover it. Guess what? Medicare covers 20 days. After 20 days, you co-pay with Medicare for another 80 days. After 100 days, you're on your own. That's when your plan starts. That's when you want to get it together and have, figure it out. And the cost per month is anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 per month. Unfortunately, my family has been the nightmare in my business. It's empowered me to be able to share this and not be in grief and cry all the time, because sometimes I will start crying because it's so intense. For example, my mom, my sweet mommy, had cancer for 10 years. And the first 5 days, she got chemo 5 days every month. This is 2010 now, okay? 5 days, once a month for a year. Guess how much it was? $90,000, okay? So $1 million is not a lot of money, especially when my dad was one of those people that, no, we're not going to get long-term care. Now, my dad was a genius. He went to Caltech. Einstein taught him a couple classes, but he grew up in the generation that Medicare is going to cover all that. But they changed their laws. They don't cover all that. So this is really important, because you can wipe out your whole estate with the medical bills, period, while you are still alive. And honestly, it's the saddest thing. I don't know what it is, but it's got to be 70 to 85% of people end up losing everything before they pass away, either in a nursing home, probate, or the Great Recession. So you want to make sure that you have as a piece inside of your plan. And as I was showing you before, you can use life insurance to cover the long-term care. Then if you don't use it, it's building cash. And depending how you set this up, a lot of realtors use whole life and IULs to create cash to invest and then pay it back, and whatever it is you guys are working on. But they're really versatile products. Now, check this out. There's 19, it's probably more than, when this slide was made, including California, who've already, they've spent all of our money, but now they're going to start, maybe they're trying to pass a law. I'm not sure if they did or not, to tax us if you don't have long-term care. So watch out for that, because that's where it's headed, because everybody is broke. Oh, here's that picture again. Your money GPS. So you're there. It wasn't a straight line. You have to start with your smart goals, your spending plan. And if you don't have rainy day money, start saving. Any minute they can decide, oh, there's a pandemic, or there's this, or it's a that. I had one client. He had $44 million in real estate and a couple $100,000 in cash. He had no trust, no long-term care. I mean, it was crazy. And that's how a lot of people are leveraged. They just get their money, put it back in the business, keep going, keep going. And that is, you got to have that balance. So make sure you have your spending plan, your freedom fund, right? The fund that you're going to use when you do your vacations and have fun. And then make sure that you have all of the other things that we talked about, the safe money, making sure not all your money is at risk, and the right paperwork, and so that you can end up to maximize your income and eliminate those taxes. But then again, I'm reminding you, there's a lot of hidden dangers, because if you don't study money, you just don't know. And now they're working heavily on creating a digital currency and just collapse everything so it'll be forced to go there. It's where it's going. The next few years, that's where it's headed. So, these things aren't too good to be true that I'm talking about, because I'm literally the witness of what I'm talking about for 3 decades myself. And I pretty much have all my retirement in equity index annuities. I have income and I have growth. And during the pandemic, I literally, I'm a national speaker, so I couldn't go out anymore. So my income went boop, right? Now what do? So I literally had my annuity and I could take out 10%, and I recreated my business to a digital business and was successful during the pandemic. So there's a lot of versatility that we can use. And then, the things that happen, like the paradox of longevity, we are living longer, right? And people, you've got to plan for 100, right? And that way you'll have extra if you don't make it. But seriously, you've got to keep that in mind, because the numbers have changed so fast. So you want to make sure that you have a good portion of your money safe, and making sure that it is compounding. So when it's safe, you don't lose your principal, you're not paying taxes. That money is compounding 2 to 3 times as fast. And like I talked about earlier, you don't want to wait till past go without saving, right? And make sure you're saving at least 20% right now. If I, interview people, a lot of people don't, and they have great wealth, but they don't have their rainy day money set up for 6 months or a year. Seriously, it is so important. Now, here, there's a lot of things that really shock me. I know it's a disgusting picture, but it shocks me about living trust. And I speak at a lot of real estate events. And this is not a put down, it's not your fault, but most realtors don't have living trusts. And so I work with a lot of agents, and I do, like, I've got a 15-minute, 20-minute living trust workshop, and I help them, do a webinar, do an event, and then they get their business online and they can talk about what they've got going on. But you need to have that. You need to make sure that you have all your assets wrapped in a living trust. And essentially, that's your estate. That's everything that you own needs to be in a trust. So the living trust actually helps you control the distribution of your estate. It minimizes the fees and taxes that are imposed upon it and avoids probate. It's a lot more than distribution. For that, these are just things that people don't think about when you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s. You have kids, and what if mom and dad don't come back for dinner? so you have guardianship. There's a guardianship built in here for your kids and your grandkids. They need them too, really seriously, because if that happens, then the state comes in and starts to try to control it. So you want to make sure that your family is protected, and you eliminate all of those, fees and taxes and things that we've talked about. Now, I know everybody could be drowning in fees and taxes. That's what our financial fitness strategy is about. But, the old saying, you can't take it with you, right? Oliver Wendell Holmes had a kind of I used to laugh, but now it's too true. Usually it goes before you do. And it is. It's really true, because if you're not paying attention, you're going to look up and you're going to be 90 years old, right? And I mean, and how many people that are seniors right now are going, wow, that was fast. I know I am, I'm in my third decade. So like I said, the paperwork for the living trust avoids probate and conservatorship. It has a guardian. So if I become incapacitated, someone I love can help me and not some stranger that has other ideas. So it keeps it in the family, and you maintain control over all your assets in the trust. No one's involved. I'm not involved. Court's not involved. Attorney's not involved. It goes from you. This is why nobody knows about it. It goes from you to your family without any middleman. It's very cool. And, probate, living trusts have been around since the Middle Ages, but they've hidden it from people except for the last 30, 40 years. And now, a lot of people are learning about it. But you maintain complete control, and you'd be shocked. This is just to kind of shock you a little bit about how many, quote, famous people or people that you would think have planners around them end up in probate. Well, obviously, she didn't have a trust. She ended up in probate for 18 years, right? Half her lifetime. And I think out of 1.8 million, there was $100,000 left. But check out all these people. This is just a random batch from Prince to Martin Luther King did not have a living trust. Can you believe that? They had no smart planners around them to let them know. And so their assets, Michael Jackson's still in the big family fight because he never finished his living trust. So, of course, they were going to fight over his royalties and things for a few generations. But you don't need to go through into the court system. And, there's strategies, and that's what we're talking about, legacy wealth strategies. So when you have a living trust, you're going to put everything that you have in the name of the trust. Your checking, your savings, your CDs, everything goes into the trust, right? On your IRAs and your 401ks, you don't have to put those in the trust because they have a beneficiary on them. They avoid probate. But check them. Make sure you have who you want on your 401k and your IRA. I've literally had second or third marriages come in, and the new wife was sitting there, and the guy had the old wife on there. And, you want to make sure that you're keeping up with the times. And like I said again, why don't people know about this? The information has been hidden. Just like they hide the information for the health, they hide the information for the wealth. And that's another story. But it's true, because these were used in the king and queen days, the trust, where the knight would go out and, and get paid and set up trusts and set up annuities. They'd get paid in an annuity and not a lump sum. So a good, complete, revocable living trust will include, excuse me, a power of attorney for financial, a power of attorney for health care. And I'll tell you what, you want that health care because you want to make sure you have your decisions, not just what the doctor's going to do, right? Power of attorney for financial. Look, if I break my leg skiing, I can have my friends or family keep my business going, right? So these are very important documents to have. Our trust includes all of that. We have a a binder full of documents. It has the revocable living trust, a power of attorney for financial, a power of attorney for healthcare, a pour over rule, a living will, and one deed. And you want to make sure that you have what I call an estate of mind. I mean, peace of mind. When your estate is in order, it is off your mind. And I'll get to your question in a minute here. Let me just wrap this up here. So there's Oliver again. Put not your trust in money, but put your money in trust. And, like I said, it is not a straight line. Our company, like I said, I'd started in 1991 or 2 at 199. We give our trusts away for $1,200. And I also work with agents. Julie will tell you about that later. But essentially, we want to make sure that you have the map through the financial jungle. So that's what I do, financial fitness strategy session. And you can hop on my calendar and I can walk this through you. Guess what? I don't charge for that. People think I'm crazy. I am a little crazy when I realized I'd protected $2.5 billion because I give a lot of time away for free. But you know what? My reward is in heaven. So I'm not worried about it, honestly. Just want to make sure that all of you guys have the updated versions of everything. So where do we go from here? And I'm sure Julie will have links and everything that you can literally hop on a call with me and do a financial fitness strategy session where literally I'll be able to help you look at different things, give you a couple little classes and videos to watch. And pretty soon I'm going to be launching our financial wellness program, which is actually something that'll be on your phone. It makes this whole thing I'm talking about really easy. There's a little link there. And then right there's all the information if you want to hop on my calendar. And if that QR code does not work, let me know. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So I see a hand up, and we're gonna do some questions. I went really a lot faster than I needed to, but that basically will. Let me go back to there. What happened? Okay, hold on. Anyway, so Marcia, you have a question?
Yes, I do.
Okay, perfect.
What happens if you have a living trust in a different state? Do you have, if you move out of the state, should you move your living trust, or can you continue with the living trust you already have?
Is that hot here? It's so hot in the house.
Living trust. It's a good idea to get it updated to the laws of that state. Now, living trusts are good in every state. I'm trying to get to the last slide here. Hold on. Let me go back. Except the state of Louisiana. They're under French law. So, but you can have it remade for the laws of that state. It's just better. It's solid, right? And then California has a really way more elaborate power of attorney for healthcare than a lot of other states. So, and I actually like it because it gives you optional questions like, do you want this? Do you want that? And so, but yeah, it's good to get it updated to the laws of the state. And also when you get a living trust, you want to make sure that you put everything in the name of the trust, all your assets. That's what a lot of people forget to do, and have their powers of attorney sign the signature card at the bank too. So the bank knows who your power of attorney is. If you don't do that with the bank and you have a trust that has a power of attorney, they won't help you. They're like their own little individual world. They have to have that signature on the card in the bank. Just a side note. Okay, you have another question, right? Or is that your hand stayed up? Oh, okay. All right. So yeah.
So Kris, that just reminded me, I have a quick question. So
Sure.
if your power of attorney has to sign the signature card from your bank or credit union that you have, that you're creating the trust account with to match. Well, what if that person is not in the same location you are? Can you, what can you do?
It's real easy. You just get the card from the bank and they can go into their bank and get a signature guarantee from their bank.
Well, let me
Does
give
it
you a
have to
little
be the
bit.
same? Does it have to be the same bank? Like I have a credit union and then my power of attorney person,
It's the
she
signature
can just go
card.
to her bank.
Yeah, because it's a signature guarantee that that bank is saying this is that person. It's
Okay,
not a
gotcha.
notary. It's called a signature guarantee.
Signature. Okay, perfect.
Hmm.
Awesome.
And
Well,
then,
Thank you.
I'd like to caution you though. I had an experience with my mother's estate.
mhm,
She lived back in Pennsylvania. I was in California, and I was her power of attorney. When she passed, I wanted to access her safe deposit box at the
mhm,
bank. I produced the power of attorney, but
right.
they wouldn't take it because they have
Hmm.
their own form. So you've
Powers
got to be careful.
powers of attorney, Skip, end at death. So that's when the trust comes in, and especially on those boxes. But I can't use, I had an experience with my husband, my partner, and he went to heaven before I did, obviously. And I had not had him sign the signature cards. So I went in as a successor trustee. And they made it really hard for me, but they knew me and they did it anyway. But the point is, a power of attorney only works while you're alive. And if maybe your mom didn't have a living trust, then you didn't have those other documents. But most people don't know that, but they end at death.
Well, it could be a durable power of attorney, and then it won't.
They end at death. Even durable powers of attorney end at death.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, you can look it up, but the ones that in California they did, unless they change the law again. But that's a good thing about the trust. Whatever, if there's a state that has a different law, that trust, that successor trustee is like the power of attorney, Skip. So they can get the box, they can do whatever they need to do. And, like a lot of states have different laws. So, but we'll definitely make sure, right? There's a raised hand, Clay.
Go ahead, Clay.
Yeah, I have a few recent experiences with all of this, and I was fortunate enough to be not only power of attorney, but on bank accounts and the whole bit. So couldn't have been more prepared, I didn't think. But one thing when I talk to people, the trust is a gift to your heirs. Thinking about it, you're avoiding the probate and all that. Because the mess that's created if you don't do it, you've created a huge hardship for who
Ah,
you leave behind, and you're
yes.
just being mean. I mean, almost.
Yeah,
No, no,
right. It's true.
it's irresponsible. It really
Thank
is.
you. Thank you.
Um,
That's so true.
one clarification or one thing that I ran into or with a couple of clients, is establishing competency after the trust is created, and be able to have a doctor's letter. And it's pretty easy to do when it's not controversial, but
Right.
just to ask a doctor's letter to acknowledge that the person's perfectly capable today, and the trust was signed 3 years ago, then you're good. But when it gets to you're doing it just ahead of a health event or whatever else, that's sticky.
That's
And
that. Can I
yeah, and
comment?
then
Go
yeah, and
ahead.
one more thing that I ran
Okay.
into, and it was really sad. Um, my stepmom passed away in September and was amazing about passwords and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I had
Good
her
one.
iPad, I had everything
Oh, that's
except I didn't have the code with her AT&T account for her cell phone
mm,
and separate for her internet. They had AT&T, their own process. So when you're talking about banks have their own process of stuff.
yes.
You got to be aware
Right.
of that. But
Right.
with AT&T, I didn't have this code, and she didn't think to, 4-digit code. She didn't think
Yes.
to leave that.
Right.
I guessed at one. I happened to guess correctly, but I never got her email and internet reestablished. So I was getting billed for stuff that I didn't know what was, and
Mm.
they wouldn't even talk to me. Amazing.
Those are,
So there's a lot of sticky stuff
yeah,
that's,
those are, Clay, those are really, really good points. And the one about the competency that I interrupted you and I wanted to share was, I tell people that if they think they have a problem child, right? Or, or a second marriage, we have different children. I have them get the letter of competency. Say they want to make an amendment, right? And change the beneficiaries. I have them get a letter of competency from the doctor when they're doing anything. If, especially if they think they're going to have problems from second marriages and things like that, right? And then, Clay, also what you said about the nightmare of probate, I it can drag in for years. And like I said, my family, I'm just being honest, was the nightmare of my business. And we had a perfectly perfect trust, but we had a sibling that wanted to sue my sister and I for equal shares. And who wants to go through that when your mom or dad passes away? I mean, the emotional hardship of that almost broke me, really. Not money wise broke me, but this like you're my brother. What? That it just went from love to just give me your money. And by the time we were through with 3 years of court and probate and etc., there wasn't anything hardly left. It was so sad. And my dad was so proud and wanting to leave something for everybody equally. So there are a lot of rabbit holes that the blessing of having so much experience on, making sure those things. And I used to spend a lot of time when I do these workshops on the nightmares of probate, because when you say probate, people don't really understand. But I now recently am going, it isn't just probate, you guys. And we're talking about powers of attorney or health care. You want to make sure that you have those documents in place and have the health care with the doctor if you needed an emergency surgery. And all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere. Then that's what just happened to me. I had boom out of nowhere. And I'm on a speaking tour and it was a boom out of nowhere. And thank God I have all this in order. But if you don't, then you just kind of get what you get given, and it isn't always the best. So that way your wishes and how you want to be taken care of can ride with you as you go through the experience of whatever it is. So anyway, there's a lot of different angles to it. Does anybody have any more questions?
I just wanted to point out you were right about the durable power of attorney. That's good for incompetence. What I was thinking was executor, and that obviously is different. So I was
Yeah,
both the
thank
executor and
you.
the power of attorney, but when
Right.
I said that, it came out power of attorney, and I should have said executor. So yeah, you
Yeah.
are right.
Thank you. Thank
It
you.
doesn't go beyond death.
Thank you. Yeah. And then you were an executor of a will, right? Or was it a trust?
I was a trust.
Okay. So, inside of the trust, you are the successor trustee, and then they have what's called a pour over will. So you're the executor of that, but you're, literally called the successor trustee, which you have all the power to do everything. And the pour over will that you have in your trust literally covers all your jewelry, furnishings, and automobiles, and includes it in the trust. And so unless you have some kind of a really cool antique car or something, those items or household items are all included in the trust. So you don't have to make a list of what you have and where it is. I literally also, Julie, share with you, you can share with everybody too. I have the Living Trust workshop. It's a 15, 20-minute video that breaks down all of those documents. And that might be fun to share that with your community, just as a gift for them to know. Because when you get a binder full of documents, it's like, okay, what's all this? And we really make it simple. I started with seniors. I'm starting with seniors and ending with seniors, right? And I don't think I'm ending. I'm just starting. But the point is, my point was to make it simple because it's so confusing. I'm like, what's the name of this and that? And so, and another thing is I'm with my clients for life. So if, Julie, you have a question about whatever, I have access, because when I worked in the law office, I hated that model of every time you text the attorney, you got to pay the checks and all of those things. So I want to, be it more of a family and we're, family and friends than it's all about just how much money I can get from you. So that's just how I've set my business up. Also, you can hop on my calendar at meetwithkrismiller.com. And Julie and I are talking about, a program where you guys can literally watch the Living Trust workshop, and we can do that live where you go through your database, is how you get some business, right? And maybe you got a new mortgage or you've got a new project or whatever it is you're doing. And then the trust is like bait, right? It gets people to come to listen to you because it's hard to get people on webinars. It's you got to do a lot of marketing, and everybody's so busy that they'll sign up and then maybe they'll listen later. So anyway, I work with attorneys on that, and it's really fun, and you get a referral fee too when we do that. So that's another fun project too.
Well, and here's the positioning for that is, especially for us as seniors real estate specialists, but we also are multi-generational in our clientele. So we have opportunity to help and serve people, at any age or any time frame. Just having this kind of a knowledge resource, and it's so pertinent to especially a family that's just made a humongous purchase. I mean,
Yeah.
They really need to have, and we can be the ones that really can provide them with the resource and the reason why it needs to be done and right away, and that it's not what you think, and it's not going to be $5,000, and there's no
Right.
billable hours.
Right.
And this is just something you just bought, a $2 million house. So I think that you should probably have a living trust.
Right.
I don't care who you are.
Exactly.
So now this just gives us more knowledge base and power to have these conversations, and it just makes us more special and unique in our conversations as real estate professionals. What do you guys think? Bueller?
Super helpful, I think. Really good. But how is this being presented, Kris? How would you do that?
Well, it depends on what state you're in, but a webinar is really easy, right? And we just do a webinar like we just did. So I have a webinar that's just a Living Trust workshop.
Okay, workshop.
And it's a workshop, and it takes it out of like a sales thing. It's just education. This is what a trust is. This is how it works. It's what probate is. Like Clay was saying, if you don't do this, this is going to happen. And it gives the whole picture. And then the people by the end of it, they go, I need that. and so then you position it inside of your database, right? And you can invite people to watch the webinar, and you're the host, like Julie is in this situation, and then you can talk about your new project or mortgage or whatever it is you do. And then we can literally position that where, I'm giving these things away. It's a $5,000 trust if you went, that's low. I'm giving it away for $1,200, but I would give a referral fee for you just as a setup, right? So,
well, it's a professional affiliation.
exactly.
And basically, and that's where, especially in our industry and working with clients, that's how we're doing business now. That's how we can best serve our seniors, our families, our multi-generational families with
Right.
these affiliations. And being professional affiliations where we can earn ambassador fees, referral fees, it just makes us better professionals, and we have the better resources.
That's it. Yeah.
And I have my trust with Kris. I spent a good amount of time searching, talking to people, getting different bids, different consultations. And there is a difference between the $5,000 estate plan trust, all of the things, and what I purchased, because I'm a sole proprietor, single at this point, widowed. And so I really didn't require, and especially with my net value or whatever, all of that stuff, I didn't require all of that $5,000 trust plan. Now, any law firm, estate planning law firm, is happy to sell that to you no matter what. I do have an estate planning attorney who's in our resource circle. They do at a very specific price. It's about $5,000. But they will tell you, what we do is probably too big of a chunk for you. We're going to give you some options. Oh, or they'll tell you, oh no, this is perfect for you. And this is how we're going to do it. And this is why, so that you have the information to make the decision. Also, lucky for us, we're in a position, I'm in a relationship with this particular estate planning attorney, a couple of them, they don't charge billable hours. Once you become their client, you're their client. Billable for estate planning. Billable hours is, for other stuff. So it is very confusing.
And
We're
then there's
working towards on making it clear. This is why Kris does what she does. This is why I'm bringing her to everybody to start this conversation and to start this learning process so that we can bring it to our clients.
Do you have access to an attorney, Kris? Is that somewhere included or?
No, I've only done 6,000 trusts, and I make them for attorneys. So, but I do have access. I do have a team. So people that do irrevocable trusts or the deferred sales trust, which you need to know about when you sell real estate. I just found out about that about 5-10 years ago, but that it's a proprietary. Actually, the attorneys are all over the country, and they have a trust that defers the sales taxes into the next generation. And Julie, I'll give you his name. You can have him on and talk about. But
yeah, I probably already know who you're talking about.
Anyway, there's a lot of different smart people that I have access to, depending on what you need, because some people have, like the revocable trust is the foundation. If you have a large estate and you're, moving millions around and things, and you have, LLCs and things, how you have it set up, then, I have access to different people that do those things. And so I'm like Julie, I'm like a resource. And these three things that I talk about are really critical to your business, to the protection of assets from those catastrophic illness, probate, and the Great Recession, making sure it's like the stool. And so I like the model, Julie, that you have, which is being a resource, and that we're all like a community and we can help each other. And if you have a question, you can find out really easy. So that's to me the best model right there.
Did you have a question, Carol Sue? Hi,
Yeah.
Carol Sue.
Hello, Julie. How are you? Hi, everybody. Good morning. Hey, Kris. Boy, have you said a lot of things that I'd like to talk to you about.
Okay.
But I would like to ask one question, which I think applies to many of us, and that is when you're creating a new trust, whether or not somebody has a home, I'm curious as to how many people, percentage-wise, if possible, include their life insurance policies within the trust, and that's part one.
Okay.
And then part two would be, assuming they are included in the trust, if somebody does have a catastrophic illness, and I agree, I've experienced it myself, the money just flies out the window because nothing else matters. You have to take care of the illness.
Yes.
So my bottom line question to you is, when you're dealing with a family who has the trust and has a life insurance policy in the trust, and then they're hit with a catastrophic illness, do you look at that life insurance policy as a source for cash now to facilitate whatever they need to manage their health?
Well, usually, and there's a real, we'll take your second one first question, and the life insurance being inside of the trust. See, the life insurance avoids probate.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and it's usually contingent on death that it gets
Right.
paid out. So now, depending on if it's like a whole life or an index universal life, some of those are set up where you can use the death benefit while you are alive. It has cash in it, and you can use that cash if it was set up right. I would think that it probably wasn't. That it's just like life insurance, and you don't want to make the trust the beneficiary of the life insurance,
Right.
right? You want it. And another thing is you could have your trust going to say all your kids, and you could have life insurance death benefit going to somebody else. So
Right, but isn't that within the contract of the life policy? And then you just kind of dump the whole thing in the trust as an umbrella? And
Well,
then
no,
when the
no, no, no,
person
no, no,
dies,
no. I wouldn't mix two chemicals together.
okay,
They
so
both have different purposes. And um, and then to give you a better answer, I have to look at what kind of policy it is and see if it even has what you kind of want. But
all right.
okay, and then your first question was,
How many people put the life insurance in the trust?
they
Which I
don't because
think
it
you just
avoids.
answered.
They don't. They
Right.
0.
it unless it's like like family offices. Sometimes they have like an ongoing when they're creating generational wealth. But
Right.
that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a simple revocable trust and all life insurance and IRAs. They have beneficiaries on them. They avoid probate. And you can reference it in your trust just to make sure that people know that it's there. Because a lot of times people look at the trust, they don't know where the assets are. People aren't that organized and they can lose a few of them, right?
It's true.
So,
You mentioned that the insurance companies sometimes offer, I think you used accelerated death benefit
yes,
or a living benefit or a terminal
right,
illness rider.
yes.
Do they all tend to have the same, like people need to qualify to get something like that, right?
There's two ways you could go. So when we get in our third and fourth quarter, and maybe we've had a medical thing and we're not 100% anymore, right?
Right,
So we could have. So if you wouldn't qualify for life insurance, and sometimes when you get it when you're older, a younger older in the 60s, right? That it's the cost of it is prohibitive. So it kind of depends on what you're trying to
exactly.
do. Now, you can get life insurance long term care if you're kind of in decent health. You could even have cancer after, 7 years or 3 years.
Right.
They have a little thing and apply for it and get it and use the death benefit for care. But say you don't have good health at all,
You mean in advance?
uh,
Use the death benefit
accelerated
in
death benefit.
advance of the death.
Yeah, accelerate. You can use the accelerate the death benefit as a payout that's tax free. And if you
Right.
set it up right, you can set yourself up for building cash. And if, God forbid, you have a catastrophic illness, you can take 2 to 4% of the death benefit for care, right?
Okay.
And what was the other
Thank
thing?
you.
Okay, did that get
Answering that. Yeah.
good? Good, because
I would like to speak with you separately, but I don't want to
perfect.
go over the whole
You
thing.
can my email is Kris at Healthy Money Happy Life, Kris with a K, or you can
Thank you. I actually
give
just
you my
sent you a
cell phone.
connection on LinkedIn.
Okay, perfect. That'll work. I want to say one more
Thank
thing
you.
about your question too that just brought up. If you're not finishing what I was saying, if you're not in good health, they actually have annuities that double and triple the money you put in there, like for long-term care. So say
Right.
you have a limited amount of money, you can't get long-term care, but you really want to stay at home and be protected, then the insurance company, if the doctor says 2 or 4 of your activities of living aren't working, then that activates the annuity and you could get a payout for care for so many years to stay in your own home. So there are different creative options that can be
Right.
used
For sure. Thank you very much.
for sure.
Chris's info is right there with the QR code that she's showing on the screen right now. And you know what I'm going to tell you? It's in the bulletin.
Right. And meetwithkrismiller.com is my calendar.
Yeah.
And if that QR
It's
code,
very-
I want to know if that works.
It does.
It does.
It
good.
does.
Okay, good work. All right.
At least it got me to the site.
Okay.
And then I was able to start writing a message to you.
Oh, okay.
And almost when I was done, I lost it.
Oh, okay.
So I did start all over, and I did send you a message in
Okay,
LinkedIn.
wonderful. And you went to LinkedIn too, right?
That's, I think, how I got there.
Okay, you went the messenger. But I, you can call me on my cell too if you want. Should I give him my cell, Julie, too, or?
Sure, I'll take it.
Sure.
Okay.
You can put it in the, just say it or put it in the chat.
Okay, 951 850 850
951-850
5307.
5307. Isn't that Florida?
No, it's Southern California.
Oh, look at you.
Inland Empire.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
She's Southern California. Yay.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, well, she's local technically.
Yeah.
We're in the same state, which makes
Right.
it
Time
amazing.
zone.
Right.
Yeah, and the same time zone.
That's
Right.
very
important.
Exactly.
Very
exactly.
helpful.
I used to live in the Empire, Inland Empire.
Yeah, I'm in Hemet, or what they call Winchester. Near
Okay, I was in
Winchester.
Upland.
Okay. All
Where
right.
that
yeah.
house is, the mystery house.
No,
No.
That's-
No.
That's
that's San Jose.
That's
Yeah.
San Jose, right? But I'm only an hour away.
Emmett.
For eventually, I'll be back up there and do more speaking again.
An hour away from who? From what?
Yeah, from you. I'll just fly up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You
For
fly
your-
these days.
For your
you
big
don't-
events. Yeah, for sure.
So I just want to reinforce the whole idea on having Kris as a resource for us to introduce these concepts and these ideas and this resource to our clients in conversations. First of all, though, and I always say, probably everybody's like, I'm my own beta. I'm going through all of this
Right.
myself.
Yeah.
And what I learn, I can share with, first of all, I share with you guys, right? And then I share with everybody who is in my space, anybody and everybody. So we can all be our own beta, and especially with all of these things. And these are all concepts and ideas that a lot of times people don't know. They don't know. They just don't know that these concepts exist because they're not taught. And so I want to go in the future, I want to go deeper into the education opportunity here to start to teach these concepts on a regular basis formally. So I'll keep everybody, and if you guys have the same ideas,
I'm
let me know.
So excited about that, Julie. Because
what do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
We have John's on here. He is a fiduciary for families, and this is an amazing. There's probably a lot of things that he is aware of, and then some things that he's not aware of that he's able to bring to his practice now. What do you think about that, John?
Yeah, no, I definitely learned from this webinar. I'll follow up with Kris if I have questions. My focus is more on short to intermediate term cash flow management than it is about full-fledged retirement planning or estate planning. But part of my practice too is supplementing kind of the execution of an estate plan, right? So when it's actually time to distribute all the funds, I can work with the families to set up, accounts on their end and just make sure that, the accounting of the money transfers is done appropriately. I've got a big client on that matter right now. We got like 8 different kids, and they're not really sure who owes what and who pays
Yeah,
for
right.
the care of the mom. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
definitely
I'm
important.
doing something slightly different than Kris. I think, our services are supplemental in a lot of ways.
That's great. Well, see, that's how we can be a resource for each other because, I
Yeah.
do a certain thing and then you do that other thing that I don't do. And that's really neat. And
Yeah.
the deep
The
dive
QR
into
code
this,
here.
the education, piece is, I'm so glad that Julie's going to do that because I realized that because I talked to everybody, I was teaching the same class like thousands of time, and it takes a lot. So, and Julia and I are talking about this. It's an app on the phone, but it's a financial wellness program on the phone that literally does all of it's really cool, but it's got like 71-minute, 3-minute videos instead of the old way of having to teach with the modules and, everybody never does it. But this is a new AI way that they put together. It's pretty cool. So everybody can get up to speed really fast. And then there's the new stuff that's coming in that nobody even talks about yet. So anyway, good on you guys for the financial wellness education. Yeah.
Well, that's going to be fabulous. There's an app for that. And the more and more especially with our demographic, apps are being utilized more readily by especially seniors or baby boomers, people our age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Us.
They'll use apps on their tablet.
Right.
75, 85-year-olds, if there's an app for that and they can get it on their tablet, which sits next to them in their cockpit recliner, that's good. That's good. And we're gonna be right there ready for it with all of this.
Yeah.
Well, I so much appreciate your time and all this information, and I look forward to, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff together going into the future. If you guys think of anything, any concepts, any questions, you can reach, Kris directly, but as a collective, those of us that serve the seniors, the families of seniors, and how we can collaborate on bringing this information to our databases, we can mastermind on that as well.
And I'll send you the Living Trust workshop video.
Yeah,
and
that
then
would
you
be
guys
great.
can, brainstorm and get some ideas, and we can work on that.
Yeah, one more time, just for the sake of recording, have everybody your best email and your cell phone number, please.
Okay, best email is Kris@healthymoneyhappylife.com. That's KRIS for those that are driving, right? At healthymoneyhappylife.com. And the cell phone, and I got to put this PS in, it really does something to your brain when everything is in order. It gives you a peace of mind and a state of mind, knowing that you got all the right paperwork, all the long-term, everything's in order. You don't have to worry about it. And then the phone number is 951-850-5307. And I look forward to talking to you. And the financial fitness strategy session is no charge, Julia, just saying that again. And we just hop on the phone, I ask your age, your health, your wealth, your goals. Then I'll literally go away and research a few things to give you a class, and we'll come back on a Zoom and I'll give you a little class. Then I'll send you everything I'm showing you too, so you can learn about it and go from there.
And you do all of that gratis.
Yeah, that's what I'm going. That's so crazy.
Well,
right?
That's a complimentary consultation discovery call.
Yeah, it's
Can I get the email again? Could you put it in the chat? Because it's kind of long.
It is in there.
Oh, it is in the chat?
Where is it?
I'm on my phone. I'm on my phone.
It's
I don't see it.
KRIS.
Oh, I see it now. Thank you.
You see it? Okay.
I already made an appointment with you for the 27th at 4:00.
I can't even see who's talking.
I'm Micklin. I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay. I see the picture. That's
And-
great. Great. I
and
can't
Kris-
wait to serve all you folks here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kris, I connected with you on LinkedIn as well.
Awesome. Okay, I have to go to LinkedIn and make sure we connect. And I look forward to talking to y'all, and if something comes up, feel free to connect with me. Like I said, this is my joy. This is my money right now, is helping folks. So thank you so much, Julie, for having me.
Thank you, Kris.
Thank you. Bless your
Thank
heart.
you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Kris.
Thank you,
Well,
guys. You're a sweet group of people. Really nice to meet you. All right.
It's all about Julie.
Thank you.
Yeah, she
She's
attracts it.
creating, Julie's the one that has this,
She's
and Skip, this energy.
right.
She's like, Julie in particular is like an energy force.
She's attracting
And
it, right?
she just brings us all in. And you're amazing, Julie. I've told you already. Let me do it publicly. I so admire the way you pull this off every week, all your energy, the way you're just great at getting the right people and keeping us motivated and getting us here on the Zoom. It's a big deal for me to sit here for you.
Well, I
And I
appreciate
thank you
it,
for
and
the
I
heads
do
up.
know what you mean. Yeah, and Skip is, of course, the wizard of it all, and it's just all in service and being of service and in
It's
service.
wonderful. Yep.
Yeah.
And getting like-minded people.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as we're all coming from the place of compassion and we want to give and we want to help and provide free information like Kris does, like I'm doing, it all comes back.
That's right.
It all
Exactly.
comes back, but it's so important for us all, in general, people in
Yeah.
the world, to just be aware and help each other when we are able to.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
Kris, you're welcome to stay or go, whatever you have time for. I'm going to go on to in the next couple of subjects.
Okay.
And then,
I have an appointment now, so I will sign off, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys again. This has really been wonderful. It was very good energy, good people. Pleasure to meet all of you, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, you're
Okay.
stuck with
Thank
us
you.
now. Thanks,
I'm
Kris.
stuck with you now. All right. See ya.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, so I just want to talk about a couple of things. I don't see too many local people here. We do have, I do have on the schedule the 55 and over new construction gated resort community tour coming up next week on May 28th. We're going to Hollister, to Twin Oaks and Hollister, and to Trilogy. We're going to 2 properties. This is going to be an opportunity for us as colleagues to visit these properties currently and get updated on how they're doing. Twin Oaks is about a 6-year-old property. They still have new construction. They have some move-in ready, and they have some resales. And then Trilogy, which is down the street in Hollister, has all new construction. And they do have some move-in readies, and their price points start at about $700,000. So very close to Silicon Valley, very affordable, beautiful product, beautiful amenities. So we're going to go and visit them. I'm going to try to make a once a month thing out of this, and we're going to go to different places. Next month, I'm hoping to arrange for us to go to Lathrop and Tracy and Manteca. There's a bunch of properties out there, but there's a Del Webb 55 plus gated community resort, new construction out in Lathrop right now. They have beautiful product. I've already been out there. So next month for that. And then, is there anything you guys got going on that you want to share, or you need some?
I wanted
Julie,
to
what does the Lathrop property start at?
They started in the 700s. Yeah.
Interesting.
And they go, these different developers, they got wildly different prices. Okay, and I said this before. Jackie, you know what's going on? You guys heard me say. These developers, okay, these units are not selling how they planned for them to sell when they planned these developments, a couple years ago. That's when all the planning occurs, is a couple years ago. Well, here we are in the 2026 market. They plan to build 1,000 houses. Now, this is Del Webb at Lathrop. they planned to build about 1,000 houses. Or no, they planned to build about 600,000. They backed it down to 400, from 600 to 400, because the sales that have occurred have indicated to them that they are slower than what they had expected, right?
Yeah.
It's Shea Homes Trilogy in Hollister that has 1,000 homes planned in their community. We're going to find out next week, where they're at with that.
Yeah, I visited a couple of weeks ago. I know two of the sales agents that work there.
Which one?
I know Natalia and
Oh,
Debbie.
yeah.
And Debbie.
Okay, Natalia's moved up to Dublin. She's at TrueMark now.
Oh, really? Just
Yeah.
in 2 weeks.
I just found out. So now we have Debbie. So you probably know Debbie.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Debbie's going to be helping us out next week.
But they're like, their HOA. Whoa, baby.
Yeah.
Goodbye,
It's
everybody.
Trilogy is
I'm
800.
out.
800. So
beautiful,
she said the clubhouse is almost done. So if the
Right.
HOA's $800 a month, that clubhouse better be.
It's amazing. They have an indoor pool with a big glass roof that opens up and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
And we don't really balk at that too much. I mean, HOAs at the villages here are 1,200 to 1,800, or you could live at Rancho San Antonio and Cupertino, and those are in the thousands.
Yeah. So you have to be a rich senior.
Yeah. So $800 at Shea Homes, probably we could make a case for that being cost effective in some instances. Okay, at Twin Oaks, it's only $324.
Yeah, they're
a
less.
month.
Their
And they're
amenities
small.
aren't as much.
Yeah, and they're a small community, so smaller, more intimate. They have an established neighborhood, an established culture.
And you're
going on
right by the
already.
hospital.
Pardon me? And they have a gorgeous clubhouse.
Did you hear me? I said they're right
I'm
by
sorry,
the
go
hospital.
ahead.
They're right
The
by the
what?
hospital.
And they're right by the hospital, which is
Sorry.
huge. Which is huge. Well, so that's the other thing. In Lathrop, Lathrop is building a new municipal and medical infrastructure just to support the Del Webb community. The other two builders that are building 55 and over, I think it's Toll Brothers and somebody else, and all the other family new construction. They're building a brand new municipal infrastructure in Lathrop. I mean, and Lathrop, really?
Right. Okay. Sorry, I distracted you.
Yeah, no, that's great. So yeah, we're excited about that. And
And we
is there
bring clients.
anything else? Michelin, go ahead.
And we bring clients.
Yes,
what's
that's what the whole idea is. If
Yeah,
you have
I'm telling them about it for future. Some of them are aging well in place. But
Mhm.
if that changes, and yet they don't have like the social activities at home like they do at these places, that's what I want them to see.
Mhm.
And then their homes are worth more than what they'd be paying at some of these places. So that's another thing.
Mhm.
But how much is the cost that we're supposed to fork up?
Oh, for the trip, I don't know yet. Because here's the thing. I'm looking at getting the luxury bus like we had last year. But it looks like they're not available. So I think I'm looking at the large passenger vans.
Rickshaws.
No.
You mean you're not going to serve champagne? Come on now. Just kidding.
Well, if I have to drive, but if I can get somebody else to drive, I'll serve the champagne. And that I just was looking at that this morning. It's not going to be very expensive. And then I'm drumming up. Somebody's gonna serve us lunch. I haven't quite figured out who it's going to be yet, but I'm working on it. And it's going to, and of course, for all of our clients, prospects, and guests, you know, we're going to host them. And then us as the professionals, if I have to say to you guys, okay, I had to spend this much money, can you give me $25? You know, it's going to be just kind of like that. Is that okay with everybody?
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
it shouldn't come out of your pocket.
what?
Shouldn't all come out of your pocket
Well,
when it's together.
yeah, what I'd like to do, because I did mention I want to make a regular thing out of this. And so if that would behoove us to get a really good idea on the cost of it. And then we can plan for minimizing or maximizing, making it extravagant or, you know, not in the future. It just depends. So,
Thank you.
Clay, you had a comment.
How many
Yeah,
people?
you're right. You're right. You just
Well,
keep going with that comment there.
no, it's subject for another day, a longer subject,
But true still.
but it's down the middle of what I do, and what's so rewarding about what I do is, you know, the person that says, gee, I'd love to live here, but you know, they don't have enough cash, and you don't want them to use all the cash. That there's some opportunities they don't even know about. There's a lot of aha moments that happen in what I do. So
Exactly. And we love to have these conversations with clients because, you know, just in the course of just introducing the product to the client, and then you hear them say something, and then you go, you know, I understand what you're saying, but or have you ever heard about X? You know, heck 'em for purchase. Hello.
yeah,
And then they haven't. And then you're like, well, we're gonna talk about that. You know, we'll get you some more information and just start the conversation. And
right.
Kim, yes, I am totally aware of the 55 and over resorts, new construction and established in the Reno, Carson area, and there's tons of it north of Reno, Spanish Springs, Lemon Valley, huge. And someday we'll make a bus trip. We'll stay overnight at the casino now. And we'll go look at new construction at 55 and over resorts up there. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, there you go.
Don't forget Arizona.
And Arizona too. I know. Michelin found the best property in Goodyear, Arizona, a couple weeks ago, and that we have to follow up on. I'll just leave that to you, Michelin. That's your assignment.
Okay, got it.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Great information today. If there's anything else, anybody else got anything else?
Yes. Next week.
Oh, senior roundtable. Yeah, senior roundtable this week. On Thursday is at 4 o'clock at the Ivy Park, San Tomas community. Ivy Park, San Tomas community, which is actually on Williams in San Jose, 4 o'clock on Thursday. And so that's going to be a really interesting talk.
Next week.
Go ahead, Skip. Sorry.
Next week.
Oh yeah. Next week is yeah, go ahead.
She's got her company called Bold Not Old, and we're going to talk about it next week. She's a fellow CSA that is on the journal board with me, so she's got some good energy and knowledge that
she's a member of the Aging Life Care Association, so I'm really going to be interested to learn a little bit about her work with the Aging Life Care Association and her Bold Not Old initiative. That's going to be really, really interesting.
Is that something political?
No. Yeah,
The
Mike
Aging
found it.
Life Care Association,
Valid.
you have to be like a PhD and a master's and have all these things
And
to even
Mensa.
open
No.
up the landing page for that association. That's just my impression, but it's okay.
Julie, what's the round table, Ivy Park? I'm kind of new to this group, so what is
Oh,
that?
Jackie, I'll
Senior
send you the
Roundtable.
link, Senior Roundtable. I'll send
Okay.
you the link with the information.
Jackie,
Yeah.
they're a monthly networking group that meets at a senior community in our area. There's several of them around the Bay Area. There's an East Bay, a North Bay, I think even Monterey, and they basically have a speaker that will talk to anybody and everybody that's in the senior business. The majority of the time is for networking. You get to talk to all the people that are there and learn about them and exchange cards and phone numbers and lies,
Do the
whatever.
residents attend?
Absolutely, yeah. It's it's a freebie, obviously, and since it's one of the communities, they try to feed you and outdo all the other communities. But the topics are pretty good. In the past, before COVID, and there was a different management, I used to be in charge of getting the speakers for Senior Roundtable for about a year or so. But it's worth it,
Okay.
especially for the networking, because there's really no other pure seniors networking arrangement in our area, and Senior Roundtable kind of covers that.
Okay, thank you. And I see
Yeah.
there's some.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure
Clay
if that's
just put up. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sure if that's the right link or not. It
Well,
looked like it.
There's two links. One is for the information for the current session, and then there's another one that has the recorded sessions that they've done. They don't record them all anymore now, but it's from past sessions that have been. But if you have any trouble, just Google Silicon Valley Senior Roundtable, and
Okay,
it'll come
this
up.
took me to page says Serious Aging Silicon Valley Senior Roundtable and
There's other senior
subscribe to the
roundtables.
newsletter, it says.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's a good resource, that landing page. And then there's also the Luma one, and I'll send you that link as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Will you send it to me too? That'd be great.
Yeah.
Hey,
Ditto.
Yeah. Yeah. Who said that? Who said
Drake.
that? Drake, you should come up on Thursday. That would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah,
oh my
Okay.
goodness,
can
I
make
just
it.
realized that's Drake Fenn, the famous
Yes.
Fenn. Hey there.
Hello. How are you, Julie?
Hi, Jackie. I'm good.
Jackie, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
He's
I'm
looking
used
at
to the
Julie.
hair. I'm not used to the beard and the gray and all that.
see,
Haven't
yeah.
seen you in a while. Hi there.
Hi. How
Question.
things been going?
Pretty okay.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Mickelin.
And I see Marcia.
Could you go back over what is bold, not old? I didn't catch that. What is it?
That's the topic that April is going to be speaking on. She has written, is it a book or an article or is it a protocol?
Well, let's see. On our LinkedIn, she says founder,
Give a call. I
bold,
could
not old,
give a
gerontologist
call at one.
and certified senior advisor,
Oh.
aging life care professional, helping individuals and organizations reframe aging.
Okay.
So her company, she's been doing this for a year and a half now. She was a care manager for an elder law office for over a year, a gerontologist for Home Instead, account manager for Phillips. So yeah, check her LinkedIn page. The last name is Ibarra. Abira.
Ibarra. I'll look that up. Thank you very much.
And yeah,
You
the
know,
first
Althea told me I was using the wrong terminology for my classes, so I've started changing it. And she said it's no
Get
longer
that
senior,
Passanelia. I mean, I don't know if anybody's coming in here, but you can stay. Just stay put.
I know.
Okay, one more. Go ahead, Mickelin.
SRES is their designation for senior, but she corrected me and said it's older adults, and I
Who
should be
said
using
that?
that.
It's
Althea.
politically correct. For
Althea.
instance, today with the presentation, Kris kept referring to long-term care. That should be long-term care insurance. Long-term care is all the managing of the physical things that people need for
Right,
assistance,
right.
while long-term care insurance is just money.
So she
And
must refer you to an insurance person, agent, because she's not one.
She is.
Really?
Yes.
I got the
but
same.
not
Because
long
her
not long-term care though. No.
her credentials don't say that. When I looked her up, but maybe she
Yeah,
is.
I think maybe she's not.
Well, you can.
She has
Find that.
LDA, licensed document assistant.
Yeah. So
Not an
lots
insurance
of us
agent.
have. Well, I yeah. So okay, everybody. It's 1:00. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you
Thank
guys next
you.
week.
Always
you.
good and informative.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.